What's up, guys? After the long awaited details for the Noah Hanifin trade, after 3 hours to be exact, we have confirmation of what's going the other way. So, Noah Hanifin is now a member of the Vegas Golden Knights. After being traded from the Calgary Flames, the Calgary Flames receive a first round pick. Um, Daniil uh, Miromanov, who's a defenseman, a conditional third that upgrades to a second if Vegas wins a playoff round, and there's double salary retention. And Philadelphia Flyers are the broker in this deal. So, a lot of people are not too happy in terms of the return for Noah Hanifin. People are saying that it's kind of underwhelming, but we're going to be taking a look at this deal here. And Noah Hanifin, known for being more of an offensive defenseman, drafted in the first round, fifth overall by the Carolina Hurricanes in 2015. Had 35 points in 61 games with the Calgary Flames this season, 11 goals and 24 assists, plus 13, which is, a delight to see in terms of a defenseman, especially on a team that struggled for the most part this season. Even though they picked it up the last couple of games, they went on a couple of winning streaks. It's nice to see him in the positives as opposed to the negatives. And in terms of the other player in this deal, Daniil Miromanov, he played 4 games with the Vegas Golden Knights, 0 points. It was -2, undrafted. And in terms of the player cards here, we have that he's an undrafted 26-year-old Russian who has worked his way through the ECHL, KHL, and AHL, where the 6'4", 207-pound right-handed defenseman had an impressive 11 goals and 40 points in 53 games 2 years ago. He has 29 games of NHL experience and will be a restricted free agent this summer. Also, there was a report saying that Calgary is working on an extension for Miromanov. The numbers haven't been released yet, but expect that to be announced shortly. And in terms of Hanifin, like I was alluding to before, mobile puck moving defenseman who typically plays a top pairing level. He's very good at what he does in terms of skating and passing, even though it's not quite elite. Impacts are down this year, but micro stats are steady. So what are your thoughts essentially, Zach, on this deal?
I mean, Vegas keep hitting these home runs. They somehow always find a way to acquire very good NHL hockey players. Well, you talked a lot about Noah Hanifin. We know how good he is, and what we do know is that first we thought this was going to be a sign and trade kind of scenario. That some of the rumblings were hinting in that direction, but we should expect Noah Hanifin to sign an extension with Vegas very very soon. And from a logistical standpoint, this offseason they will have Alec Martinez coming off their books, a very talented and obviously multiple Stanley Cup winning left-sided D-man for Vegas, who's going to be coming. His $5.25 million is going to be coming off their books this offseason, and they're going to replace him with another quality NHL, another quality veteran for the present and the future in Noah Hanifin. So they essentially in this move they found their Alec Martinez replacement and more. And it's just another move that is going to bolster Vegas is already a very solid decor. So now you have a decor with top-rated defensemen, Shea Theodore, Alex Pietrangelo, and now Noah Hanifin with some good, secondary pieces like Alec Martinez, I mentioned, Brady McNabb, Zach Whitecloud. This is just going to be, a very stellar decor, and it's going to give Vegas a boost. A team who is hoping for another playoff run. They've been in the playoff mix ever since their inaugural season. So this is a slam dunk for them. From Calgary's side of things, kind of a wishy-washy record. They're not really haven't really capitalized on a lot of big moments this year and really like establish themselves as a playoff team, because right now they're kind of in the mix of things, and they don't have their spot for certain, and they're trying to get a return on the assets that they do have. They started with Chris Tanev, they got a second round pick and then some, and now the return on Hanifin, which is a first. Like you mentioned, the journeyman from the KHL who spent some time in DA this year and last year, as well as a conditional pick. As
Yeah,
a
and
comparison,
sorry,
as
go ahead.
sorry, no worries. As a comparison, Jacob Chikrin last trade deadline moved for a first round pick, a second, um, and another conditional second from Washington. And that was kind of like, if we compare that as the standard for a player of Hanifin's caliber, you're not missing out by much. I know, Calgary fans are flaming general manager Conroy on Twitter, but you do get your first round pick, and you do potentially get a second. So this um, is not a bad return for a player who, look, he wasn't going to resign in Calgary. They got some draft picks for him. They stockpiled with his trade and with Tanev's trade, as well as Elias Lindholm. So from Calgary's perspective, this is not bad at all. But Vegas definitely gets much more competitive with this move.
And in terms of what Philadelphia receives on their end for salary retention, it's going to be a 2024 fifth round pick from the Vegas Golden Knights. So yeah, I completely agree. Martinez is up there in age. He's been injured a lot these last couple of seasons. He's going to be a UFA. It's a no-brainer, to make this move, finding a Martinez replacement. And, they could always activate Martinez off of LTIR heading into the playoffs, which bolsters their team even more, especially in their defensive end. And then obviously Mark Stone, who's on LTIR, would be activated as well. I know everyone is complaining about how they use their dead cap space, essentially, that they gain by placing players on LTIR. But everyone has done it at one point. We saw Tampa Bay do it at one point to Kucherov. Vegas has done it a couple of times. With Mark Stone in particular. So this is not a shocker to a lot of people, and they're still looking to add other pieces. And if I'm not mistaken, they're looking to add another forward as well. So honestly, in terms of this deal, it sucks that Calgary's decor is literally, um, as you can see here, uh, it's
It's
gutted
it's,
to the
it's
bone.
shapeshifted. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
completely.
gutted to the bone. So and then right here, where Martinez is placed, Noah Hannafin is gonna slot in automatically since he's injured. And I see Noah Hannafin getting second power play minutes because since he's known for his offensive stats. Maybe even if he does really well, he might even move up to the first power play unit. That's the beauty about the Vegas Golden Knights. They have so many talented, interchangeable players that do such a great job at playing offensive but also defensive, and that's why they made it so far and they won the Stanley Cup last year. So these guys want to repeat, and I honestly think that they do have the team. And they added Anthony Mantha yesterday, um, which is adding a 20 goal scorer essentially, which increases your team's offense by a lot. You're adding an offensive defenseman who increases your chances of scoring a lot of goals as well. So this is a team that is sending a message to the rest of the league that they are taking this very seriously, and they wear their Stanley Cup rings with pride, and they want to repeat. And the Vegas Golden Knights, since their introduction to the league, they've always been a staple in terms of making transactions that better their team.
Yeah, that's always been Vegas's philosophy, and I'd like to add that in this deal, there is 75% of Hanifin's salary that will be retained. So Vegas is not going to have a lot on their books. I don't know if the figure here for their current space situation, I don't know if it's reflecting what it is after this deal, but
This is before Hanifin.
okay, so what this is considering Mantha, this is considering about 2.75 for Hanifin, and then there's still about almost a 3 million in salary that they could allocate somewhere and bring in another contract. So I don't think Vegas is done. I wouldn't be shocked by any accounts in the next 2 days. They make another move for maybe a forward that is gonna bolster the lineup. I know they were in the Tarasenko sweepstakes. Um, there's still Tyler Toffoli's name who's out there. Um, I'd
Jake
be
Gansel's another one
surprised.
that they're connected to
Yeah,
too.
yeah, there is, but it's just, do they have the assets to get those two deals done? I don't know.
I would say that Vegas always finds a way, to be honest with you. And
Yeah,
to
they know to be
specify
aggressive.
and to s- and to specify the first round pick that they get, the Calgary Flames, it's a conditional 2025 first round pick. So um, unless Vegas Golden Knights uh, trades in this deadline, then it goes to 2026. Okay, so kind of an odd condition, but yeah, they don't even get a 2024 first round pick. They get a 2025, so that could move on to 2026, which honestly could be a good thing because we all know that Vegas is going to go on a long run here, and they're going to go deep into the playoffs. So it's probably going to be like a very low first round pick if it was this year's
Yeah,
pick. But you never know what could happen next year. You never know what's going to happen in 2026. Vegas could fall off, which I highly doubt, but anything is possible. We've seen a lot of good teams that were competitive for many years fall off like out of nowhere. So I think that's why it was more important for them to get a later first round pick in terms of years, as opposed to getting this year's because they knew that it was going to be basically a late first round pick. So I think honestly, I like that. I think that was very smart on them. What do you think about that?
yeah. I think that is smart because you're banking on the fact that you know who knows what's, like you said, who knows what's gonna happen in a year or two from now. This team could, with maybe some injuries, bad goaltending, but it's hard to say that a team like this that is just so have a great head coach, have two really good goalies, have a stacked roster. It's hard to say that in a year or two they're not going to be in a similar situation to where they are now. But all you could do is hope, because right now this year they're going to be going into the playoffs. So you could bank on the fact that the first round pick would have been a lower end, um, from a lower end of the spectrum there. So yeah, it's definitely smart by Conroy to go about it that way.
And not only that, both Colorado and Vegas gave up first round picks that are not from this year's draft. So they could weaponize those first round picks this year to acquire, like, let's say, another top player, or in this case, they're targeting a top winger, and they've been linked to Jake Gensel. So, this is very, very smart in terms of how they got this deal done, because now it allows them to have assets for another big add to their team, and obviously weaponizing their LTIR space. But guys, we'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. Vegas Golden Knights, how are you feeling about this trade? What else do you expect? Calgary Flame fans, are you feeling that like this trade value in terms, or this trade return essentially for Noah Hanifin is underwhelming? Um, what did you expect in terms of return for Noah Hanifin? Are you happy that it's a 2025 first round pick that could be a 2026 first round pick as opposed to 2024 first round pick? And what other moves do you think the Calgary Flames could make? Honestly, Zach, I do believe that they've reached the end in terms of selling. I don't think Markstrom goes anywhere. I think that's an offseason move. And they got rid of their guys. They got rid of Zadorov. They got rid of Tanev, and they got rid of Hanifin, exactly like it was reported months ago. And I don't know who else they could really get rid of. So
Well, it was Lindholm who also went, and Markstrom is definitely a complicated move cap wise, and I think that's a move better suited for the off season, especially
yeah,
since he's a goaltender.
exactly. But guys, thank you so much, guys, for watching. Like this video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Young Guns podcast.